My country people them, welcome to this part 2 of the presentation about 11th of February and why would they celebrate him. This presentation it be done because of the lies, the manipulation, the distortion where it don't happen amongst the Anglophone population because of this monumental event where it will take place from 1961. For the first part of this presentation where I publish on the 11th of February 2024, we will talk and all parties they will agree, including the Ambazonian side, from Barrister Mbesa to Barrister Fru Johnson, all of them agree, say that territory it being a United Nations Trust territory administered by the British, say the population they be vote willingly and democratic process, they be choose for join La République du Cameroon in that plebiscite where it be organized by the United Nations and the United Kingdom where it been at the administering authority on the 11th of February 1961 for that plebiscite where it be organized by the United Nations and the United Kingdom. And our forefathers they be vote because they will defined way for run away from the domination from Nigeria. And for part 1 we don't accept said La République du Cameroon and the former British Southern Cameroons they be joined on the 1st of October 1961 for form one country called the Federal Republic of Cameroon. And under the West Cameroon state, John Go Foncha when the leader, now ye and ye own political elites for West Cameroon, they be decide for celebrate 11th of February every year as the West Cameroon Youth Day. Now, President Ahmadou Ahidjo, he can join me for say, in honor for the West Cameroon people them, and in celebration of una decision for can join we want to make that 11th of February a National Youth Day, and now for day for 1966 where they start for celebrate Youth Day as a national event. Before that, for 1965 and 1964, they be celebrated now only for West Cameroon as the West Cameroon Youth Day. So for this presentation today, we will talk about the grievances where Anglophones they get them. Starting with the ones where they always talk say they no be get a union treaty. The ones where they talk today, so the Fumban conference, they get problems, they talk about the federal constitution and all of those things. There is a lot of confusion, misinformation, distortion and lies being told about the events that may happen regarding the federal constitution for 1961. When I listen, na Capo Daniel go talk. When I go listen, he go tell when I wait away me, I don't tell when I. Yourself, then gong dog. It don't listen to my preaching and my teachings. It don't learn small sense. It don't work up for your head now. He understand the reality of it, the international law and the implications on the international stage. Now, why that way? It don't finally put small sense for your head. Gong dog Capo Daniel, he talk. It don't change. I don't finally succeed for educate at least this one amber fool. Make it understand. Point number 1. That territory known as the former Southern Cameroons, where today now the northwest and the southwest region of Cameroon, has never been sovereign. It never, ever, ever, ever gets sovereignty. And I wait this way, I don't educate them for a long time. But finally, Ngong Dog Capo Daniel, it don't learn small sense. And when I listen, now you go talk.
Today is the 12th day of this month of February 2024. My name is Capo Daniel. Last week we put out a video, an audio in the podcast where we talk about our narrative in this struggle, which is that 11 February was a day changed from a plebiscite day by La République du Cameroon into a youth day that make mockery of our history. But I'm going to present to you the facts and the truth, because when you are angry, you say certain things sometimes out of anger, and sometimes you sin when you are angry. But for us to win this war, we will conform to the African Union Charter and international law, because independence or whatever we may get will be something that will require the international community to support us. So in line with our goal to push for freedom for our people and end this war, we are going to be factual with you and align ourselves with international law so that we can better serve our people to push for their right, the right of self-determination. So I want to start with 11 February. What is 11 February all about? And this is very important because for many people, this may be the first time you have heard about this, but we are going to put it to you anyway. What is 11 February? What did Cameroon change the plebiscite day to a youth day? This is a very important question that we must answer to our people because we have had that narrative pushed down our throat for 7 years. I'm going to tell you the truth and what it means for our struggle going forward. 11 February, as you know very well, was the plebiscite day. It is very important in our history. It is a day that the Southern Cameroon, which was a quasi-region in Nigeria. A quasi-region means that the Nigerian government granted us autonomy. That was under the British. So the British government, in effect, granted us autonomy and self-governance. It gave us a unique opportunity under the leadership of the Prime Minister Ndele to build a very solid democracy and strong institutions that prepare us eventually for independence. So that 11 February was the day where the United Nations organized a plebiscite for our people to express their opinion, whether they want to join Nigeria or they want to join Cameroon. This is the root cause of this problem. Because during that time, our people were told that it was just an opinion and they were going to go through several procedures in order for them to secure a contract with Cameroon as a union. Unfortunately, that never happened. They were deceived, and right now we know what happened because we have the ability to look in hindsight and to study what has happened. Recently, the British government released a document to Barrister Mukwele, who appealed in the British court about this case, about the British government obligation to our territory. And in that document, they clearly stated that Southern Cameroon have been integrated into La République du Cameroon, which is not what we were told, which is not what Cameroon promised in the United Nations. These are all injustice that we have suffered. Can this injustice be sued in court? Yes. Are there legal remedy for such injustice? Unfortunately, legally speaking, there are very few remedies because the British government have been sued for a similar case before, and the only thing they did was to apologize to those people because they have discretion in managing the territories that they were trusted to manage. But I'm here to give you the fact of what happened on 11 February. 11 February was a plebiscite day. It took place in 1960, where our people voted to join French Cameroon against Nigeria. The vast majority of our people voted to join French Cameroon, and indeed they went to Fumban to have a union. Unfortunately, everything we put on the table was rejected. Nevertheless, our government, led by Jongu Foncha, continued the union with Cameroon through the constitution that was imposed on us, passed by the Cameroon Parliament. We had a very poor fight by our diplomats to secure a better deal for us. Everything that was rejected, they never put up a good fight. One, because they were very weak. Two, when the British people were leaving Southern Cameroon in Tico Airport, they turned to Ahmadou Ahidjo to hand him the instrument of our sovereignty, not to Jongu Foncha. So we know that we did not have the support of the British government, and our administration was very young. Jongu Foncha had been campaigning for us to join French Cameroon, and he just wanted us to join without any safeguards, and we are suffering the consequences of that particular decision. So I want our people to know, before 11 February became what we call today Youth Day, what really happened? I'm going to give you the facts. In 1962, Jongu Foncha, who was now the vice president of Cameroon, had a speech where he cancelled the celebration of our National Day. Our National Day was the Southern Cameroon Day. And Jongu Foncha, not La République du Cameroun, we may say that he was influenced by La République or not, but he was responsible. he gave the order, release this document to cancel our Southern Cameroon Day henceforth. And this is his speech. I'm going to read part of the speech so that you hear. Jongu Foncha said, the 26th October, which marked the separation of Cameroon from East Nigeria region, was celebrated as a partial national day because we were still under trusteeship rule. Its celebration gave us the impetus to regain a wider nationhood and was the beginning of our independence. So you could hear Foncha talking about the period where we were Kwasi region not as being independent, but as still being under the trusteeship rule. I say this because you have some people who are not very well educated about this subject, like Chris Anu have said that we were independent country when we had autonomy. No. So we were under the British trusteeship system, as you can hear. So this was the speech Jongu Foncha gave to change our national day, or Southern Cameroon Day, on the 26th of October, that celebrate our separation from Nigeria. It was changed into a national day by Jongu Foncha, who was then the vice president of Cameroon. And that was the speech he said. And the document, the historic document where this archive came from, says that the West Cameroon leadership, that means they had a meeting, the West Cameroon leadership decided to transform a national day into a youth day. So from 1962, it was now to 1963, the National Day of Southern Cameroon was now celebrated as a youth day. So you have October 26, Southern Cameroon National Day was changed and it was now celebrated as a youth day without a National Guard in presence. So the date was changed by Jongu Foncha. And in 1963, the Secretary of State of Education and Social Welfare, who was S.M. Ndamukong, at that time, he made this speech that further made the transformation of that day. 1963, Honorable Ndamukong, he said, this is his speech, I'm going to read the speech. Youth Day. So they were celebrating 11 February still in 1963 as a plebiscite day. But in 1963, after the celebration, the Secretary of Social Welfare and Education, Mr. Ndamukong, he made a speech that transformed the plebiscite day, which was 11 February. Remember that Jongu Foncha only changed the Southern Cameroon Day into Youth Day. But in 1963, Honorable Ndamukong changed our plebiscite day, 11 February, into the Youth Day. And this is the speech. I will read the speech. He says, Youth Day is now 11 February each year. School sports normally held on the 26th of October will be held on the 11th of February. Teachers and pupils should therefore note that 11 February 1964 is the date on which youth sports will take place. On October 1, Reunification Day will be a public holiday for march past. So this document is signed by Honorable Ndamukong, who was the Secretary of Education and Social Welfare in the Southern Cameroon government. At that time, Southern Cameroon was now West Cameroon. We have a functioning government that represents our people, and we have our Prime Minister, who was now the Vice President of La République du Cameroun. So this is what happened. The change of 11 February from a national day, from a plebiscite day to a youth day was not changed by La République du Cameroun, but our own Southern Cameroon or West Cameroon government. The leadership changed it, and a Secretary of State did make that changes. This is very important for us to know the truth, to know the fact. Not just that we conform with international law, but also that we can have a proper voice, because only the truth shall set us free. If we don't know the truth, we don't speak the truth, we can't be set free. Some radicals within our struggle that have taken advantage of this movement of our people looking for their freedom have completely destroyed our narrative by injecting falsehood that have no reference in history. So this is part of us restoring the truth and make sure that we can fight for our people in a way that is going to bear fruit. In 1963, when Mr. Ndamukong has changed the plebiscite day into a youth day, the next year, Jongu Foncha came to participate in celebration because he had moved to Yaoundé when he was made the vice president. And this is what he said in 1964 when they made the first celebration of 11 February, not as a plebiscite day, but as a youth day. Jongu Foncha speak, I quote him, "The idea of a youth day to children on 11 February means to feast, while for grown-up, 11 February Youth Day was a day a majority of the people of West Cameroon made history by almost unanimously, honestly, voluntarily decides to achieve independence and reunification with former French Cameroon." So this is our Prime Minister, our representative, calling La République du Cameroun as former French Cameroon. That is why sometimes we also call our Southern Cameroon as former Southern Cameroon. We must know the facts. There are some these illiterates like this hermaphrodite guy, this Bobby boy who continue to disturb our people, but you have to know the facts. Southern Cameroon is considered former, just like French Cameroon is considered former under United Nations and under the African Union Charter. And the new country that was created cannot be considered French Cameroon or English Cameroon. Such consideration and attempts to consider it as such is illegal, even by the regime it plays. So for us to have good standing and be able to make a case for our people that can bear fruit and that can be heard, we must be in accordance and in conformity with the law. That is why many petitions that have been sent by our people to the international communities have just simply been ignored or not taken seriously because it is not in conformity with international law. We have come far for 7 years now, and we have had time to study, engage the international community to find out what is really the problem, that they don't hear our plea each time we communicate with them. And we have an obligation as leadership, as organization representing the best interests of our people, to do the right thing and to do history justice. So this is Jongu Foncha talking about reunification. The word he is using is reunification. That means he is even affirming the fact that the two Cameroon was once one country under the Germans, which it was just the truth. So after 1964, where Jongu Foncha attended the Youth Day in 11 February, which was the first Youth Day, and first time 11 February was celebrated as a Youth Day. This celebration was not done in all of Cameroon. It was done only on our own West Cameroon, our own Anglophone Cameroon. So during the first time 11 February was celebrated as a Youth Day, it was presided over by Jongu Foncha, the Vice President of Cameroon. And it was not just one day celebration, it was a huge celebration. 11 February celebration in 1964. The Sultan of Fumban was invited. It was a huge celebration in Victoria with all our dignitaries that attended it. The celebration ended with a huge reception that took place in the Prime Minister Lodge in Boya. They had over 500 guests from people of West Cameroon government and the people of our own territory. It was very, very fantastic. And in 1967, that is when Ahmadou Ahidjo, seeing this huge, magnificent celebration of pride and nationhood by our people, decided to declare 11 February Youth Day as a national day that was being celebrated now across both the West Cameroon and East Cameroon, which is Francophone Cameroon. So our people should know very well the origin of this day. It wasn't a day that was imposed by us by La République. It was a day that originated from us, celebrated our heritage, and celebrated the decision of self-determination we made to join French Cameroon. And for those who think that we did not join, ask yourself that the Vice President of Cameroon, Jongu Foncha, was there as who? Jongu Foncha, in his speech in 1963, talking about referring to Southern Cameroon Youth Day, stated that it was a day that celebrated what has been achieved in terms of reunification. What did he mean? So we had united with Cameroon through constitutional union, not necessarily the Union Treaty, as many of us we had been pushing forth after being influenced by very radical people. We must know the truth. This truth is not defending La République as this hermaphrodite guy will come and say Capo Daniel is defending La République. No. It is us taking responsibility so that we can make progress. Without taking responsibility of your own mistake, you cannot be in a position where you can make right decisions for your people to move forward. These decisions that were made by Djongo Foncha and the leadership of West Cameroon had very damaging impact on our life, and we are suffering the consequences. We cannot survive in this war or progress just by blaming La République du Cameroun. La République du Cameroun is definitely taking advantage of our weakness and the failures we made. These decisions that were made by the leadership of West Cameroon was not made due to patriotism or looking out for our people. It was because Djongo Foncha, their propagandists and their statement, if you read from newspaper excerpt during that period, were more concerned about their infighting with Ndele, and they were thinking that the national day that was put in place by Ndele in 26th of October was a heritage from Ndele. It was Ndele's thing. So they were trying to destroy it, not knowing that they are destroying our entire country. And today we still face the same challenges. Ambazonia think that they want to destroy each other when actually they are destroying the struggle. Look at what Cristiano and Sako did, killing other soldiers in Levialem, thinking they are going to become powerful. But you don't know you are helping the enemy to achieve their goal.
Micah explain one thing for now. For any person who talks or man want go join La République, that person he no get sense, he no get common sense. Ambazonia, according to international law, a country now a country will be recognized internationally by the United Nations. If the United Nations no recognize you as a country or a sovereign state, you are not, because now them be the war order where it be in the rule. And country the way them be considered as a sovereign state, they no fit ever break away without the explicit approval of that sovereign state. Time where Southern Sudan be one separate for Sudan, the United Nations before Sudanese government meet the approval, meet their constitution change for make provision, meet South Sudan a change. There is no country that can be recognized by the United Nations according to their charters that the sovereign which was previously recognized by the United Nations does not endorse it. Even for Serbia, Kosovo, where it does separate way, even America, it don't recognize them. They never be recognized by the United Nations, and they no fit function as a state within the World Bank and other subsidiary for the United Nations, where the Serbia government never approve their or recognize their independence. So it would be impossible without that approval. You get the same thing way it happen also for the Western Sahara land, how they call this other one way they were together with Morocco. Morocco, the time way African Union, this country get category B status the same like Southern Cameroon at the time where we go for plebiscite. Time where the African Union, they want to make move for recognize this country, Morocco decides it will withdraw for African Union, and it completely stopped everything where they will do until today. The Sahara land is still be a part of Morocco as they recognize and will be a contested part. So our people should know the truth. From a long time, as I be tell now, our struggle it can be diverted by hardline and extremists. From the 90s, from the time we will be there with 1961, right up to the 90s, our people have never disputed whether we were part of La République or not. That is why Gorgi Dinka said that La République du Cameroun had withdrawn, have seceded. Secession means that we were together already. You cannot say that Ambazonia wants to leave when we are not together with La République. We are recognized as one country with La République under the United Nations. The Americans have made that position clear that the sovereignty of Cameroon include the French Cameroon and the English Cameroon. We should know that, and these are one of the things that have been difficult for us to be taken seriously by both state parties in the African Union and in the United Nations, because what we say, our narrative has diverted from international legal basis. It does not conform with legality when we say that we are not part of Cameroon. We should understand that Cameroon includes Ambazonia and French Cameroon. The two came together to form one country. The problem we have is not that we never united with them. The idea that because we don't have a union treaty means that we are not a part of La République du Cameroun have been well investigated by professors during the Canadian talk that was assigned by Ahidjo. We were given resources, and we give a professor in Norway who have the access to do a proper research, and they have come out to settle that argument. There are more than one way a country joins with each other. It was prescribed that we join through a union treaty. It never happened. We joined through a constitutional union that took place in the Fumban Conference. Constitutional union does not require a union treaty. The absence of a union treaty or a formal acceptance or concern by the Ambazonian side to accept the terms of our union with La République du Cameroun is lacking. But that does not mean that we did not join La République. It simply means that the process of us to put in place to safeguard our interests and our identity were changed. We also have a good argument that the option of giving us during the plebiscite to become independent was removed. Those are all injustice. But there is no legal remedy for such justice because the British government had the discretion. When the British commissioner was evacuating Ambazonia in Tiko Airport, Ahidjo was handed the instrument of our sovereignty, not Jongu Foncha. So the British government clearly handed it to La République du Cameroun.
So when I don't hear, now you yourself don't talk now where you don't finally learn from me, and then now it don't get more sense, now it don't adjust your position. Now why that way it can't talk say that territory by international law it be recognized as part of one country, Cameroon. So for person for talk say it go join La République or say Ambazonia, they go join La République or whatever nonsense, it is stupidity. Also very important, now the admission where you don't can admit them for una after I don't learn sense from me, of course. The admission now say no country no fit claim say it be sovereign or it be independent without the recognition from the United Nations. None. For as long as the United Nations no recognize you, you are not sovereign, you are not independent. And remember say the plebiscite on the 11th of February 1961, it will be organized by the United Nations. The result of that plebiscite, it will be accepted and approved by the United Nations, accepted by the UK, accepted by all other countries in the United Nations. So it begs the question, like Dr. Simon Munzo Goputam, who then are you going to convince that the work of decolonization in Cameroon was not complete? Who are you going to convince when where the decolonization was actually carried out by the United Nations, by Great Britain? Who then are you going to go in 1995 or 2016 or 2024? Who are you going to convince that the work of the United Nations to decolonize the former Southern Cameroons is not complete? Who?
But it's under the auspices of the UN that our people voted on the 11th of February to achieve independence by joining La République. It is under the auspices of the UN that the post-reunification, the post-plebiscite conferences were held leading up to October 1st, 1961. And all this while, the UN has taken cognizance of the fact that since 1st of October 1961, the former British administered UN Trust Territory of Southern Cameroons ceased to have that status. And by the way, the trusteeship agreement between the United Nations and the United Kingdom over this territory that was signed in 1946 or 1947 ended. That's an agreement between the UK and the UN for the administration of SC, Southern Cameroons. It ended once Southern Cameroons opted to achieve independence by joining La République. So, who in the international community are you going to convince that the work of decolonizing Southern Cameroons was not completed? Who? So I argued that based on that, it is futile to say that you are going to pursue independence by diplomacy. And when Julius Ayuk-Tape and others started flying around here, acting like head of state already, you see him arrive at the airport in Washington or New York with a constellation of bodyguards and drivers and all of that to say a diplomatic offensive. I just laughed. I laughed. It was a show. He wasn't going to lead anywhere. You know? So that part of independence by diplomacy, I argued, and I still argue, was a no-go. It wouldn't lead anywhere.